primetime edition of the news here on DBS television. Let us begin the news with the headlines. Cameroon takes steps to ensure national development through loans to raise funds from home and abroad. Through a presidential decree, these funds will finance public development projects and settled government payments. And in politics, opinions remain divided on the issue of a coalition as a means to topple the ruling regime in Cameroon. While the opposition fails to come up with a consensus candidate, some politicians see the problem elsewhere. Get these stories and more when we come up for the full newscast right ahead. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this primetime edition of the news for this Tuesday, the 19th of August, 2025. My name is Mange Venasius. We begin the news in Lum, that is in Mongo division of the littoral region. The quest for peace in Cameroon, especially during this sensitive period of the presidential election, is becoming the concern of everyone. In Lum, that is in Mongo division of the littoral region, commercial motorbike riders have been drilled on the promotion of peace and responsible citizenship. We have details of that story with Joy Agendia.
As Cameroon gears up for a crucial presidential election, the city of Lum has taken a proactive step toward peace and civic engagement. Over 50 commercial bike riders, including several union leaders, gathered for a moral renewal workshop led by Honorable Patricia Ewombe, a young member of parliament and delegates of the National Youth Council of Cameroon.
I think about them because I know that there are people in need. Some of them have very bad character because of the environment. They lack knowledge, they lack moral, and I think there is time for us or for somebody to stand and teach them that they have their own to do for their country. It's not only to wait what the country have to do for them, but they have their own role to play in it.
Centered on the theme, peace as a guarantee of socio-professional integration, the session focused on equipping participants with tools to promote peace, integrity and community cohesion. With election on the horizon, the message was clear. Lasting peace begins with responsible citizenship. Attendees were also encouraged to embrace youth entrepreneurship, pursue socio-professional education, and respect transport sector regulations.
Now, I don't see like what big man, what big papa for done the deal of Loom. So and then, see what don't interest me again. I don't see like which way I'm making for help for today because we don't have stress.
Organizers highlighted the influence commercial bike riders have as everyday community actors capable of shaping public behavior and promoting stability. These initiatives set the tone for a peaceful electoral season and a more structured transport sector in Lum.
Let us touch issues concerning elections properly, with voter registration complete and presidential candidates confirmed. Attention now turns to polling stations, the centerpiece of a successful election. Security, accessibility, and their overall readiness take center stage in this report with Ashley Johnson, who looks at how a polling station is supposed to be. What does the law say? Let's have that in this report.
Done and dusted with voter registration and the selection of presidential candidates, polling stations now dictate the election's governing body, ELECAM. Where voters will cast their ballots on election day should be secure, accessible, and situated near them, a key criterion in choosing polling stations. The Director General of Elections shall draw up the list of polling stations for every council as provided for by Section 96, subsection 1. A total of 31,271 polling stations have been created, with 107 of them stationed in the diaspora. The voter population, which overall stands at over 8 million, determines the number of polling stations. polling stations must not have over 500 voters in line with Section 96, subsection 3. Every polling station shall be located in public premises or in premises open to the public like schools, explanates of churches, mosques and chiefdoms. Towns like Yaoundé and Douala have the highest number of polling stations. There is no specific distance that separates one from the other. 2 or more polling stations could exist in a council area depending on the number of voters to save time. Elecam has carefully considered the positioning of polling stations guided by Section 96 of the Electoral Code.
Now, let's come back to this notion of a coalition in Cameroon, a proposal that has failed to yield fruit as many would have loved it to be. In the following report, we look at the views of a politician who thinks that the problem of Cameroon does not lie on a coalition. Let's have that in this report.
The notion of a political coalition in Cameroon has remained an equivocal concept, while many hold that the party in power can only be defeated through a united front. A number of presidential candidates for the upcoming election attempted to come out with a consensus candidate as public opinion had been made to believe. The attempt failed, vindicating the views of some politicians who think and maintain that Cameroon's political quagmire does not lie on a coalition.
You keep talking about a single candidate. Oh, you people should get to it. There is no candidature problem in Cameroon. There is a problem of an electoral system. The coalition should not be about people. It should be about the electoral system.
Many now think that this position has its strength in the fact that greed or selfishness is what is animating most of these opposition party leaders, who only accept a coalition if others will rally behind him or her. From another angle, the notion of working on the electoral code and process may still have some difficulties given a status quo where the party in power has everything it takes to approve or disapprove any proposed amendment on the present electoral code.
And from there we move over to the far north region, where a significant political meeting has been held, that is in Maroua 2 Council, organized by the head of the permanent delegation of the Central Committee of the CPDM party. Party militants are optimistic, according to our reporter Rugiatu Buba, in securing a 100% victory for their party candidate Paul Biya. Her report.
Held by the head of the permanent delegation of the Central Committee of the CPDM for Diamare. This gathering aimed to mobilize leaders from various sections, local elected officials, traditional chiefs and supporters of the CPDM in Diamare. The primary focus was on developing strategies to conduct a seamless campaign that would ensure a resounding victory for their candidate come October 12, 2025. I have assembled elites so that everything will be implicated. We need to understand our community. We also are here to put in place a team for election campaigns. From sensitization to the electoral cards and vote counting, we will do our best. In addition to strategizing for the upcoming elections, the meeting also served to assess the current climate of serenity within the different sections of the party. Participants discussed the importance of unity and collaboration among the various factions to strengthen their campaign efforts. We want serenity to reign within our militants. Even though there are still some difficulties or problems, we are trying to put in place measures where everyone will be equal. With the strategies adopted during this come-together, Diamare is confident in its political influence. The party is not only optimistic about its prospects, but is also prepared to secure a 100% victory for their candidate, President Paul Biya, in the upcoming elections come October 12, 2025.
Now, let's leave politics. We talk economic and development in Cameroon. 930 billion francs CFA is the amount planned by the government of Cameroon to be gotten as loans. This is contained in a decree signed by the head of state authorizing the Minister of Finance to raise the amount that will be dedicated in financing national development and stabilizing public finances. We have details of that story with Nde Vanessa Shuyong.
In a bid to boost national development and stabilize public finances, President Paul Biya has signed Decree number 2025/409 authorizing the Minister of Finance Louis Paul Mutaze to raise 930 billion francs CFA in loans from domestic and international sources. The loan package is structured into three main components: 350 billion francs CFA to be raised through treasury bonds on the local financial market, 250 billion francs CFA to come from direct loans by domestic private institutions, and 330 billion to be sourced from international banking markets. According to the decree, the funds are intended to finance public development projects and settle outstanding government payments. This move follows recent adjustments to the 2025 finance law and reflects growing efforts to address fiscal shortfalls. While government officials argue that the loan is necessary to sustain ongoing infrastructure works and meet short-term financial obligations, ones that Cameroon's increasing reliance on borrowing raises concerns about long-term debt sustainability. Observers caution that the country's public debt has been steadily climbing, fueled by repeated recourse to external and domestic financing. As the Finance Ministry moves ahead with this latest loan plan, questions remain about transparency, the efficiency of project execution, and whether the benefits will meet ordinary citizens struggling with the rising cost of living.
And like others say, Vanessa, efforts need to be done to make sure that the cankerworm of corruption is handled before such developmental projects take effect if they are to be efficient. Let us look at other societal stories. We take you to the market to look at the abundance of safo, or what is popularly referred to as plums. Traders say the yield this year has been plentiful. Now, what about the price? What about the quality of these plums or safu that we have in our market? Rachel Difongang is our guide that takes us through the markets that is in Yaoundé in her report.
Safu, commonly called plums, is currently abundant in the markets of Yaoundé. The food is widely available not only in traditional market stalls, but also along the streets, reflecting its high demand and popularity.
Les prix actuellement sur les plumes, c'est les prix qui sont bas. On vend l'occasion comme ça à 2000. Et les plumes en abondance. Ça ne passe pas tellement. L'année, c'est ça. Les plumes ont vraiment produit cette année exagérément. Donc, ça sort pas quoi avec les plumes.
The availability and quality of safu vary depending on the season and the region from which it comes. Vendors sell the fruit either in nets or in pies, allowing buyers to purchase according to their needs.
Les prix sont un peu abordables, c'est justifié. Faisons les tas de 100 francs, les tas de 500. Ça dépend des clients quoi. Le sac, on peut vendre le sac même à 8 000, même à 7 000, ça dépend.
Prices are not fixed and depend largely on the quality and quantity of the plums.
C'est trop abondant. Les femmes du village sont chères, mais pour revendre comme ça, là, ce n'est pas facile.
Despite seasonal fluctuations, safu remains a highly sought-after fruit, appreciated for both its taste and nutritional value.
While traders are complaining of low prices, Cameroonians should be happy with the abundance of safu that we have this year, praying that the yield in other areas like maize, beans, and granite should also be abundant, so that the quantity that they have in the market should be something more. We leave the market. We talk about the issue of academic excellence. We take you to Barre Bakem, that is at the center stage with a local elite, Eso Colette, who recognizes the outstanding performance of some pupils and students. Here, gift Scholarships and support packages were handed to schools and learners, marking the second edition of this initiative by this local elite. We have details of that story with Ashley Johnson.
As a new school year knocks at the door, the message in Barebakem rings loud. Hard work pays. To encourage learners, Eso Colette, Secretary General of the CPD Mungo North East 2 section, offered school kits to the 5 best students in every institution across the subdivision.
Notre sœur, Madame Colette Eso.
Our sister, Madame Colette Eso, has always stood by parents during back to school. What she gives us, we complete to meet the children's school needs as school resumes. Over 200 students drawn from 27 primary schools, 9 secondary schools and a vocational training center receive gifts ranging from school bags and books to math sets and pens.
Je remercie Madame Colette pour les cadeaux qu'elle nous a offerts. Ça va m'aider à fréquenter avec.
Je voudrais bien remercier Maman Colette de m'avoir donné tous ces cadeaux et ça va bien m'aider durant toute l'année scolaire.
School authorities were not left out. They too received a minimum package to facilitate the resumption of classes. With this package, back to school will be effective. We, the authorities, will know how to manage with the parents and children so that they should first begin with the little they've been given so that they can complete after. Beyond material donations, scholarships were awarded to learners who excelled in the 2025 official exams, from the CEP to the baccalauréat.
Et je crois que je ne m'arrêterai pas là. Il y aura d'autres variantes de cette excellence qui naîtront dans les années à venir.
This second edition of Excellence in Education initiative ended on a festive note under the chairmanship of the divisional officer of Barebakem. The rendezvous is already set for next year.
A laudable initiative there from Barebakem, and today being World Humanitarian Day, it is a call for other elites to emulate that and let their local communities feel their impact as we prepare for back to schools. The Ngaoundere 3 Council has drilled pregnant women on how to improve maternal health with the help of a balanced diet. That was in partnership with the Health Research and Intervention, the RSD Institute, as Rashen Difongang tells us that the goal is to prevent the non-communicable disease in Ngaoundere 3 subdivision and in Cameroon at large. Her report.
The Ngaoundere 3 Subdivision Council, working hand in hand with NGO RSD Institute, is spearheading efforts to improve maternal and child health through the Sun Up project. The initiative encourages pregnant women to embrace balanced diet, rich in fruits and vegetables, nurturing the habits of healthy eating. The goal was to teach pregnant women how to create their own small home gardens, allowing them to grow their own produce. I learned that you can create a small garden somewhere in the house and plant vegetables that can be harvested later to feed ourselves. It also highlights the importance of medical monitoring during pregnancy as a safeguard for safe childbirth. These messages are conveyed during educational sessions held in health centers across the subdivision and at the council headquarters.
La formation nous a appris beaucoup de choses.
The training taught us a lot of things. Pregnant women should always start with prenatal visits. I was informed and educated about the necessary food to eat during pregnancy. I informed and educated them on the essential nutrients and food to consume during pregnancy. The first problem this activity solves is reducing home births and encouraging women to go for prenatal visits. It also solves another problem, which is the issue of food quality in the market. We have so many vegetables made with fertilizers, carrots for example, and others that when you buy them, they can spoil the next day. By receiving training and awareness, many women are now better equipped to protect their own health and ensure the well-being of their babies.
Hoping that others will also learn from Ngaoundere. That is how we saw it in this edition of the news from this studio. The next edition of the news will be coming up at 7:45 p.m. in the French language with Ludovic André Malagal. As for me, I will be back again tomorrow for what would have meet news for the midweek edition. Until then, have a blessed evening and goodbye from all of us here.